Moses went to the mountain, and God spoke unto him.
Brent Moses, I call him the greatest of all time. He arguably, well, he is, to me, he's the best basketball player that I've ever had the privilege to watch play in North Philadelphia.
Would you have made it to the NBA?
I would have made it to the fucking Hall of Fame.
Moses with the spin move as he almost lost his match.
Brandt not only was the greatest, he also taught others. People that came up under him, guys, he taught other guys.
Brandt was a beast.
Was he?
He had a complete game. Complete game. He used to play with R&R and Deli back in the day. Them mechanics and Moore. It was a problem.
This guy here, man, he had it. He had it, man. You know, whatever it is, he had it, man.
We played for the love and we played with them.
That's right.
I mean, look, we all knew each other.
Yeah.
When we got on the court, it was war.
That's
Talk
right.
to me after the game. Right now, I'm trying to crack your head.
Yeah.
And after
That's
the game,
right.
we can go get some 40s and stuff like that. But right now, I'm trying to
game.
If you want to know anything, this guy right here is a legend. He's one of the best that ever did it.
In Philadelphia, the 70s and the 80s was a rich period of basketball, a lot of talent. Brandt Moses would play against pros, play against the likes of Floyd, who played for the Houston Rockets.
And Floyd can shoot. Now he goes toward the hoop on this one.
Mike Anderson, who played for the Spurs.
The rookie, a mere 5'11", was now in the NBA.
He played the Baker League against Joe Bryant, who played for the Sixers and San Diego Clippers.
Bryant puts it on the floor, gets inside of Spencer. Hey, comes over the top of Kareem and rattles the building.
And he would hold his own with all these type guys.
Brandt Moses was one of the greatest players I ever played against in the streets.
Well, Brent Moses, he revolutionized the big point guard role. He was the first big point guard before Magic Johnson.
Hey, that was our hero. That was our hero. We sit in the stands watching. He the first dude I see throw the ball off the backboard and dunk on everybody else in the game. We saw that up the King Center, ran on the court and everything when he did that.
Brent Moses come down on a fast break, 3-on-1, throw it off the backboard and a hook dunk as a point guard.
Brent was a gangster point guard, playing the point, and after the game, he was a gangster. Well, you know, they used to take people for rides. You know what I mean? They take people for a ride, you know what I mean? And after the ride, I don't know what transpired, but I know they was doing their thing out here, you know what I mean? I know people feared them on the basketball court and all.
We was in the game then, but that's when we was taking in. We was just strapped up. We running around the city taking shit from off it. Brandt was a gangster. Straight laced and no chase. And we can go anywhere and intimidate people because Brandt had a very big reputation of holding his own. Yeah, my name is Brandt Moses. I was born and raised not far from here on 24th Street between Berks and Nars.
20?
We grew up at.
24th.
But this place right here, Gather Center, was the first place that I played basketball. Back then, the name of the center was Moreland Recreation Center. Yeah, we played the New York, Philadelphia games, and first time I went over there, my age bracket was the Pee Wees, and we lost. I think it was 2 months or 3 months later, they came back over here, and we won every division except for the 14 and 16. I actually had a good game then, you know, and that made me develop the love for the game, for basketball.
Keith Johnson, born and raised 24th and Nars area. Known Brandt from childhood. I guess we've been together since 4, 5, 6 years old. Brandt was a bit smarter than the rest of us. So he was able to go to Catholic school, because back then you had to test to get in Catholic school. So And financially, you had to be able to pay to get in Catholic school. We grew up in North Philly, which is, you know, in the ghetto, but most of 85% of us had a whole family, two-parent household. And his parents was able to pay for him to go to Catholic school, of course, after he was able to exam in. The rest of us went to public school.
Catholic school provided some level of structure for us, you know, knowing what's right and wrong, but we were products of that neighborhood. So it was tough for us. We were fighting every day. That's why most folks are down awake and hold their hands. We was fighting every day. The early 70s, racism and the Rizzo era, and cops and all that, you know, we dealt with all that. We were a product of that.
First school I went to was right around the corner from where I grew up at, St. Elizabeth's. I went there because it was Catholic school. I went there from kindergarten to 8th grade. I played baseball, basketball, and football at St. Elizabeth's, you know, and because I just loved playing sports.
And Brandt was a tremendous athlete. We all were at this point.
My first rival is one of the greatest players that ever come up out of this city, and that was Mo Howard.
2 minutes left in the quarter as Howard shoots and scores.
When I was at St. Elizabeth, he was at Our Lady of Mercy, and we used to play them, and they was like the arch rival because we was here at 24th Street, and they was right over the bridge at 28th Street.
Yeah, remember back then? I remember him. Yeah, he was a good player. He was a young guy.
He was my first rival.
He came over to.
He had St. E so feared. Nobody wanted to play against Mo Howard.
When I left St. Elizabeth's, I went to Roman Catholic, and over Roman, I played freshman and JV in the 9th grade. I started freshman, I dressed JV.
Speedy ain't like it. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, Brandt was arrogant, confident, tough, ain't taking no shit. He wasn't really having it. And he had what he needed. He had another guy, Chico Singham, in the same era that was on his team. He figured he didn't need Brandt.
One thing I'll say about Roman and being over there and around Speedy Morris, he was definitely a good coach. We learned a lot from him. I learned a lot from him because I used to watch them because we got on the court. We practiced first at one end, and they would be down the other end until Speedy decided to take the gym away from the freshman and the JV. And at that time, the boy, Jim O'Brien, I was a freshman, and he was a senior. And I think that year, Jim O'Brien, he won City Player of the Year.
Up in the morning and out to school, the teacher is teaching the golden rule. American history and practical math. You study them hard and hoping to pass.
Also following some breaking news where several students have been detained after what we're told was a fight in the lunchroom.
You know, I was a freshman at Roman, and Brandt was a sophomore at Roman. So during that time, you got to understand there was racial tension. You know, in the 70s, Roman was predominantly white. So, you know, you had these white folks coming from Roxborough, Manayunk. And so during that time in the fall of '70, it was a race ride.
See, it started on 4th period lunch. I had 6th period lunch, but my class was on the 3rd floor. My 4th period class was right on the 2nd floor where the lunchroom was at. You know what I mean? The next class I had to go to was upstairs, so I ran in the lunchroom that day. So we was in line, and I'm looking at, you know, a couple of the white guys that was there that I knew was just like race. See, my mother never raised me to be prejudiced. And I know it was some white people over there that were prejudiced, you know what I mean? They just thought they was better than.
St. Elizabeth and a lot of North Philly Catholic schools were feeder programs to Roman Catholic. Back then, depending on where you lived and what parish you came from, determined what high school you went to. North Philadelphia fed Roman Catholic, so we all had chips on our shoulder. We wasn't taking nothing from the white folks, you know, at the end of the day. So you had that kind of tension, but the seniors was really heading all this, you know. We didn't initiate it. The seniors were ones who was really involved with the protesting and all that. And we just, you know, we weren't taking nothing.
Anyway, these guys was over there. He was coming over there to put some ketchup on his meatball sandwich. When this big football player, big husky boy, he jumped in front of him, just grabbed the ketchup, and he purposely poured it on the boy's shirt. And then he said, "Oops, did I do that? Oh, my fault." I grabbed this other freshman that was in line and pushed him out of line. I said, "Go around the classes and tell them that it started." I'm not gonna say I threw the first punch, You know, I'm never going to admit to that. I ain't throw the first punch, but I went over there and it started, and it was like maybe only like 10 blacks in the lunchroom at the time. But by the time the fight really escalated, you know, blacks and whites was coming out of all the classes, coming into the lunchroom.
I was late that day. So when I got there, it moved outside, and that's when the construction workers from Hannibal was throwing bricks and stuff down at us. Then Franklin came down, and you know, they came down, they heard about it, and that resulted in his departure. While there were many involved in it, he got singled out, which was unfortunate as well.
They stopped school, they sent us home, you know, but the next morning, you know, we had to go see the discipline office, and my mom, God bless her soul, had to come up to the school, and Speedy actually was trying to keep me in Roman, because he talked to them before me and my mom went in there, and he came out and he told me, he spoke to my mom and he pulled me to the side, he said, look, when you go in there, he said, you just shake your head, you admit and accept everything, and you'll be all right.
Back in the days when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore. But some days I sit and wish I was a kid again. Back in the days when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore. But some days I sit and wish I was a kid again.
When I left Roman, I went to Franklin, and that's where I played varsity baseball in the 11th and 12th grade. I played varsity basketball in the 12th grade.
When he finally left Roman and went to Franklin, he even called, man, I'm going to Franklin, you got to come over here. Brandt, I ain't coming over there. I was hell-bent on sitting in the classroom with guys. This couldn't. But they didn't tell me William Penn was out the back door. So I went to Gratz. But going to Gratz, back then, it wasn't a safe haven. It wasn't like, and I didn't know anybody. It was probably like 5 of us that went to Gratz. So when I got out, I would just come home.
The greatest point guard I've ever seen play in my life in this city was Brandt Moses. I always said that, you know, he was the greatest player that ever come out of Benny Franklin High School. No disrespect to Pooh Richardson, Snoop Graham, or Randy. All good players in their own right who played in the league. Couldn't nobody touch Brandt. I got Brandt in the same category as old head Timmy Clarkson and Galen Baker.
And actually, like, you know, I made all public, all area in baseball. The bad break I got was my 11th grade, my junior year, Franklin, I didn't play. My senior year, which was 1973, which was the year of the strike, and because I hadn't played in 11th grade, you know, and let my name get known, trust me, my name was known everywhere, every gym, from 4th and Fairmount all the way out to 63rd and Cows Creek Parkway. Yeah, I won a chip everywhere, everywhere.
1976, when I was in 10th grade and I walked in Franklin High School, and I walked to the trophy case. The first 2 pictures I seen was Brandt and Carrington. Probably the greatest shooter that ever come out of Ben Franklin High School.
That nigga be like this, boom, every time. Boom, that shit gon' whack every time. Just don't move, don't fucking move. The same move like this. Nigga, you can't guard me. Boom, boom, boom. Like, boy, you like motherfucking, hold up, I'm trying to see, boy. That thing was blown.
You and Hank.
Yo, that thing was blown. No, I remember I came up box one day, I'm like, who dude? They're like, that's Carrington. I'm like, hold up. He shooting like that? Shit all like this. Curry and they start that shit, you did that shit.
The shit a motherfucking layup. I been Steph Curry with the shot, been cooking with the sauce, Chef Curry with the pot, boy.
My 11th grade year, Ken Hamilton, my coach, told me that I was gonna make the team, but I wasn't gonna start because Lightbulb was there. He had loyalty to his seniors. And back then, like, my game was really just starting to take off. And my attitude, like, I was cocky. Down the line, I learned to separate being cocky from being confident. But then, you know, I can admit I was cocky. Like, if I bust your ass on the court, I don't want to hear nothing from you. So he's going to tell me I'll make the team, but Lightbulb is going to start. This guy was following us in every league out here in the streets, up at 26th and Master the Rec, down here at 22nd and Cecil B, which is the King Center, and even back then we had a league at St. Elizabeth's. I'm beating him in every league, but you're gonna tell me you're gonna start him. If he was better than me, I could have accepted it. But no, he wasn't better than me. He was just a senior. He was a year ahead of me. During my senior year, which was 1973, it was a teacher's strike. Therefore, we had to go to alternate schools. And Sunny Hill, in order for the basketball players, the high school players to still be able to play, he started the Sunny Hill alternate league. And we had different coaches come out and stuff like that. And our coach at Franklin happened to be Claude Gross. Claude himself was a Philadelphia icon. But anyway, that year, we'd have had a good team. We'd have made the playoffs and everything. But even still outside of that, I played against Chubby Cox when we played Roxborough up there. He was, Chubby was one of the players that was known in the public league anyway, and there was a lot expected of him. And he was a hell of a ball player. I will say that. You can't take that away from him. But I'll tell you what, when we played Roxborough, we beat them, and Chubby, he had a hell of a game. And I remember right off the tip, they won the tap, Chubby got it, he had his little shake with him, and he went like he was gonna shoot a jumper, and he did like this, and I jumped, and I came down, and he went up and he shot it, and it went in. He insulted me by come smacking me on my ass, talking about next time, Moses, don't jump so high, you catch a nosebleed. So after that, I outscored him 22-11, and we beat Roxborough ass up there. I said, Chubby, next time, don't open your mouth so quick.
I remember a game at Temple South Hall, and it was Brandt, Franklin versus Gratz with Joe Gore and Larry Pittman. So everyone was anxious to see this guard matchup.
I was hyped about this game because Gratz was stacked with guards. And all during the week, Ham kept telling me, like, yeah, okay, you gonna be ready, okay? I'm gonna see how good of a guard you really are. I'm gonna see how good of a guard you are, we start playing, and I'm getting off. I'm having fun out there. Me and Carrington, we was having fun out there.
We were in the territory of 15th and Oxford. It was a gang war period. And so some people were a little leery about being in there, but South Hall was a safe haven also for us.
All right, well, Brandt was the leader of the Valley Gang. Mm-hmm. And wherever we went, wherever we played, the Valley came.
The gym was packed. And I'm talking about it was all the 23rd and Berks, 15th and Oxford. It was so many people in that gym at that time.
They saw some of my homies from the Valley, because they used to follow us to the games. A lot of my homies that was over Franklin with us, they would come to the games. So I knew something was gonna happen, but I'm playing ball, we back and forth, we running, playing the game and stuff. And I see them coming to the gym. My homies, my cousin, they up in the stand, they looking, they not worried about it though, they there, support me, And when I hear the mouth going, I heard the words going, and I'm bringing the ball up the court. And I look in the stands.
Brandt picks up the ball and takes off running, and Joe Gore still trying to play hard defense on him. And Brandt keeps running into the stands, and Joe Gore follows him into the stands until he realized Brandt was off the court.
The first ball from Oxford I seen, I hit him in the head with the ball, and I just started rumbling with my homies and my cousin. We was in the stands rumbling. Once they got us separated and whatever, the Oxford Street went out, then Ham told us we had to leave by the fire escape so we can get up out of there.
And at the time, South Hall was about 3 stories high. And they had those old fire escapes, those black steps where one came down and you got to where the Valley is throwing these guys off the fire escape all the way down to the ground. And after they had got rid of all the guys from the other gang, Brandt turns around to me and says, all right, coach, we're ready to go back and start practicing. I said, Brandt, if you and your guys don't get out of here.
After the post-game comments, this post-game fight. Supporters of both teams, many believe not to be students.
It was a gang war. People spilled out on the court, people trying to run, get out of the way. I was only 13 at the time. That was my first gang situation, seeing that in front of my eyes. And I've heard the Valley was versus 15th and Oxford. And I'd never seen anything like it in a public league basketball game.
That might have been his iconic moment, because after that, they really, not blackballed him, but he had a bad reputation from that series. But it was to show how much heart he had. You know what I mean? He was coming down the court, and Joe Gore is one of the all-time great city players, but Brandt was taking it to him early in the game.
Brad was also one of the best fighters that I've ever seen. So he was an athlete, I say it that way. I never seen him play baseball, but I hear of his baseball legend. So Brandt Moses was a heck of an athlete.
Hustler, word, I pull the trigger long, grit my teeth, spray to every nigga's gone. Got my block sewn on at dope spots. Last thing I sweat, so suck a punk cop.
I mean, in high school, you know, that was the gang war era, and we was, you know, gang war. We actually, the school that I went to, Ben Franklin, was in the gang called Morocco's territory, and I was from the Valley.
He was leader planning-wise. You know, now people think gangs, you just go up and run and just attack people, but it's strategically planned what area you're gonna go and how you're gonna get there. He was one that were playing that, how to get through this neighborhood, get over there, and how to get these guys. So that's what he did. He was smart, the boy was smart.
Morocco's was up in Franklin, and the Valley, we came, you know, we went to school. That was the high school that most of the people from the Valley went to, because North Street was up at Gratz, and they was down to Edison. You know what I mean? The Valley, we was able to go up to Franklin. You know, but Morocco's was up in Morocco's territory, and sometimes they had little, you know, they felt some type of way about that when people would say the Valley run this school.
You had Redness, 24 for Redna, you had Morocco's, you had DeMarco's. So we were always defending ourselves, fighting. I mean, you know, going, you know, and then, you know, we were, you talking about 12, 13, 14, 15 years of age. Then you had the old heads that was really shooting and all that. But we had to defend ourselves. And that's really the nature of our involvement, you know, early on.
Him and the rest of them would always say, somebody got to make it out of here. I was the one that they wanted to make out of here. Not that I didn't want to hang. I would hang with them when there was something started. Yo, Keith, you got to go home. No, I want to. You got to go home. So he was supposed to make it in basketball, and I was supposed to make it business-wise.
I did a lot of things. A lot of things changed for me when I went to Franklin. You know what I mean? As far as the sports and all that, and the street life, and you know, Franklin. That's where I started selling weed when I went to Ben Franklin.
When you have them coming out of school, and there's any kind of gang conflicts, you got the mix of, it's like fire and gasoline.
The gangs are fighting a war over turf, drugs, and money.
Well, what we wound up doing was selling drugs and running the streets and using. And we both went that path. I was good with holding money. He was good as a business entrepreneur.
Yeah, when I came home, I kept it up, you know what I mean? And then I started seeing how I could get money out in the streets. You know what I mean? So I just started hustling.
Every day I'm hustling, 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 every day I'm
Okay, back, you know, when we were coming up, it was a movie theater on Ridge Avenue called the Pearl Movie. And that was basically in DeMarco's territory. And we fought them from time to time. They wasn't a constant gang war with them, but once in a while. But anyway, we was in the movie, and we was watching the movie, you know what I mean? And when we went to come out, you know what I mean, like, they started arguing in the movie, and we had this guy named Tom the Bomb that was from our way. He was a good boxer. Him and my cousin Russell was two of the best boxers. They was boxing at the Pal. They jumped on Tom, you know, he was like hitting 3, 4 of them, he fighting, and then it's like 4 or 5 of them, 6, 7, I don't know how many got on him. And next thing you know, all we saw was we was running over there to him, and when he raised up, he throwing people everywhere. They coming off his back flying like he was the Hulk or something, you know what I mean? And from there, you know, we threw a few more blows in the movies, and then we got up out of there.
We continue to follow breaking news, and the live look right now at the movie theater where 10 different police departments on scene after a large fight. Police say no one has been arrested. We will continue to bring any new information as it comes in.
After high school, I went to St. Vincent's College. That was up in Western Pennsylvania. That was the first year that they allowed freshmen to play varsity. You know, I played 1 year there. You know, and the best game I had there, ironically, was when we played against Pitt Johnstown, and they had players like Chuck Brazil, Michael Black, Chubby Wells, And I played against them, and I think that was my best game as a freshman in college. I think I had like 16 points that game.
We used to talk back and forth because I was down in Florida at a junior college. We used to talk back and forth. And he said, Holmes, the coach had to pull me to the side. I said, what's the matter? He said, so I was playing wing, and every time I would come out, I was supposed to get the pass. He says, so every time I get the pass, you know what I'm doing? I'm shooting. Coach had to pull me aside. I don't mean for you to shoot every time you get the ball. He said, oh, I thought you want me to shoot it every time. So,
I was up there ripping them in practice, killing the varsity as a freshman. And they made, the coach, his name was Bernie Matthews, then he put me on the varsity. He said, you're not playing freshman those days, you playing varsity. So he told me I had the potential to be the best player to ever come out of that school. And then when I started practicing with the varsity hard, I took the starting spot as a guard. But I took the Philly brand of basketball with me everywhere I went. That's just how I played.
He was just smart, the consummate point guard. He was a very smart individual, man. And he started a trend, one of the big guard eras. He was one of the first big point guards at 6'3" that can handle the rock very well. Made us better playing around him, and made sure everybody was in control and under control.
He went to St. Vincent for about a year, I think, and then I just didn't want to come back to Philadelphia. So for a small bit of time, after he left there, we had lost contact. I would come to the city and, we looked for each other. I was trying to get as far away from Philadelphia as possible. And he just stayed down here.
I left the school. When I came home that summer, what happened was they changed coaches, and the coach that was up Pitt Johnstown, he actually got the head coaching job. He was a freshman coach. He got the head coaching job out in Wilmington College, out Wilmington, Ohio. I went out there, but I chose not to stay out there. It was too cold for me.
I play the street life because there's no place I can go. Street life, it's the only life I know.
Yeah, so once I came back home, and I took to the streets, I hustled. I was that boy. You know what I'm saying? I had to be the guy with everything I did.
I play the street life.
Well, my experience in the street life, it was hard to get caught up in the system, get caught up on drugs, and start doing things that you weren't used to doing. And once I lost my place of business, I started hustling, getting high, doing these things, you know what I mean? So, but you walked around, you seen all these great basketball players walking up and down the street that should have been in the NBA. Per se, Brandt Moses, Carrington Wood was good enough.
Brandt ended up using the streets. Use his talents to maneuver and handle the streets. And what I mean by handling the streets, we got into a lot of illegal activity. Most of us that came up, him, myself, played ball and then went into the streets. We were able to use that as well as he was able to use that to become better known in the streets and in the game in the streets. When I mean game, I mean drug game, which ultimately led our lives on a destructive path. And real destructive path our lives were led on. What we are doing today, him and I, we wasn't doing that years ago.
Check. Look, if I shoot you, I'm brainless. But if you shoot me, then you famous. What's a nigga to do when the streets is watching? Blocks keep clocking, waiting for you to break. Make your first mistake.
It really didn't bother me too much because I came back home and, I was like, just like I felt like I was in the prime of my life in basketball, like I was in my prime in the streets too, because I had really knew the streets well then, and then when I came home, I just started hustling and everything.
Brandt was a gangster point guard, playing the point, and after the game, he was a gangster.
I played sports hard, I ran the streets hard. I got caught up in the streets, so I went hard. That's the only way I know to go. Let's go hard. Like Jesus said, go hard or go home.
And most of us played ball, baseball or basketball. And because of the environment of gang war, they got away from it. And most of them went to good-ass schools. Another guy was a hell of a shortstop when he was coming up. But because getting involved in the gang affiliation, they slid away from that. Brandt was able to continue playing ball through all that what he used to call himself? Gangster Love.
Brandt Moses lived a glamorous lifestyle. He was young, fly, fur coats, jewelry, fine women. He was that dude.
Did a lot of shit just to live this here lifestyle. Came straight from the bottom to the top of my lifestyle.
Back then in the streets, the good time was living freely. Like my mother would say, I thought you only made $8 an hour. How you bring this stuff in the house? And my father would say, leave the boy alone. Boy, bring your stuff home. Like I would bring new furniture sets in the house. Leave the boy alone. Boy, bring it in. You can ask him all them questions. So I didn't know nothing about car insurance. I ain't know about no car payment. I didn't know nothing. I didn't know nothing about that kind of stuff. You just go buy a car. I don't even know we had insurance. I don't even remember paying rent. I remember one time, me and Moon was together. I was Philly, and the girl said, we took her money. Moon said, what? And we had literally 15 $1 bills. Take what we need your money for. That's how I remember my life to be.
When she started dealing drugs and started hustling, getting high, whatever he was doing, you're not going to do nothing else but that. Like you said, if you making, like you said, you can make $1,000, so much money a year playing ball, but you can make that much money in a month.
Like when I was hustling, I hustled hard and I got good money. I got good money. I left from down Burke Street, moved up to Harlan Street. You know, I was with my son's mother. Her name is Diane. And my two sons was by her. When I was with her on Harlan Street down there, I was hustling hard. I was selling, you name it, I sold it.
He come up with the plan, I don't even put this on there, to sell the drugs. How we gonna get it and how we gonna get rid of it. And he would have it for everybody. He came up with the plan. The plan usually worked. I like having money in my pocket. He knew that, and I didn't take money or steal. I only had my money. So he knew that we were straight that way.
I gave it to people on my team because they weren't really getting no money. And this was a way for them to put some dollars in their pocket. You know what I'm saying? So, but I had enough where what I gave them didn't hurt me. You know what I'm saying? Because I could still do my own thing. But when the money started coming in quicker, yeah, we had young boys under us that we gave to work too. And we would just watch them.
It was money, fun, hanging with women. Didn't have to work. You can get up all day, play ball, sell on the street. We can make money, go down to the casino or hang out down Atlantic City, run up to New York. That was it for us.
Yeah, Brandt Moses was definitely about that life and living that life. And he was rolling through the neighborhoods in a Lincoln Continental.
But I had a Lincoln, a Monte Carlo, and a Cadillac all at the same time.
Well, they used to take people for rides. You know what I mean? They take people for a ride, you know what I mean? And after the ride, I don't know what transpired, but I know they was doing their thing out here, you know what I mean? I know they had people feared them on the basketball court and all.
Yeah, we was in the game then, but that's when we was taking in. We was just strapped up, we went around the city taking shit from off.
My motto was kind of like to say, okay, well, if I didn't make it legally, I'm gonna make it illegal.
You ain't talking about my niggas, then what you talking about? Gangsters move in silence, nigga, and I don't talk a lot.
Brandt was a gangster. Straight nation, no chase. And we can go anywhere and intimidate people because Brandt had a very big reputation of holding his own.
I got game, she got game, we got game, they got game, he got game. It might feel good, it might sound a little something, but the game if it ain't saying nothing. Damn.
It was a few guys that I used to look up to all the time, but they really instilled in me in my heart the passion, when I watched them. And I was determined, that basketball was gonna be my game and I was gonna be that boy.
Hey, that was our hero. That was our hero. We sit in the stands watching. He the first dude I see throw the ball off the backboard and dunk on everybody else.
And I started, when I really devoted myself to it, all I did was play basketball. I went to school, and from the time I came home, I played basketball. And I had guys in our neighborhood that came behind me, like Hank and Mike Anderson and Chenault, but they all looked up to Moses. They all wanted to play with me.
He worked at being better at what he did. He would go and they would tell him, you weak left-handed. And he would go for weeks and weeks and days and wrap up one side of his body so he can learn how to be a good ball player with his left hand. He worked at that. They said, you don't have a shot. He worked at having a shot. He worked at wanting to be the best.
Get me on the court and I'm troubled. Last week messed around and got a triple-double. Freaking brothers every way like MJ. I can't believe today was a good day.
This right here, I was a point guard. Back then, I was like one of the first of the big point guards. You know what I'm saying? But like, I did it all. I handled the ball, I ran the show, I rebound, I played D. And yeah, if I caught you lunching, I'm gonna throw it down on you. I'm gonna throw it down on you, without a doubt. You know what I mean? I did that down the bottom.
Because in 1977, the King Center and Ball Center was the place to be. And I'm telling you, man, the crowds at the King Center, man, it was just the Brandt Moses show. And I remember Brandt, Carrington, Dean, all on the same team. And everybody came to see Brandt.
I was that boy. That's the bottom line. You know what I mean? And that was my mentality throughout my ball playing years, wherever I went at. You know what I'm saying? I'm that guy. You know what I mean? I don't care about who you are, what name you are, where you come from, what part of the city. When you go up against me, then guess what? Yeah, that's why I got a nickname. They said Moses walked the waters. Yeah, because I made a lot of people drown.
We used to watch him go in Johnson home, him and George Dennis. Go work out. He's tough, kill George. And George, though he was the man. Britain used to kill everybody. I'm telling you, he was the best. He's the best.
Yeah, I would compare myself to like Russell Westbrook because that's how I played. You had to have that heart. And I didn't care about nobody like Westbrook did. For my basketball IQ, I modeled my game after my hero, and that's why I wore his number throughout most of my career, and that was Walt Frazier. And I always wore number 10 because his basketball IQ was off the chain, and I tried to emulate my game behind him.
And for the guys that came behind us, he was like an inspiration. And he would bring them, a lot of guys, younger guys came behind us. He was the old heads, Moreland Center, what they called it, a hang gathering. We grew up in Moreland Center. That was his center, because they come, they go Brandt, they go Moses, man, they go Moses. People thought Moses Malone was Moses down here, Brandt was Moses. They go Moses, man, because that was his name, Brandt Moses.
But Brandt Moses was like Dr. J, legendary Dr. J. This guy was doing 360-degree turns in the air and slamming. Couldn't nobody stop him. He was an unbelievable basketball player. Everybody knew he was going to the NBA.
I would compare his game to Dennis Johnson. That's just my view, because he controlled the floor. Brandt knew exactly what he wanted to do. All right, and he pretty much knew exactly what everybody else was supposed to do. All right, so he had that kind of command on the floor.
My passion for the game was so strong, against some guys who were supposed to have been people, when I walk in the gym, I go over to the scores table and tell them, put me down for 30.
When he led the nation in scoring and rebounding, he used to tell me before every game how much he was going to score on Shaquille O'Neal, J.R. Reed. It ain't matter, man. You understand what I'm saying? But we got that from Brandt. All the moves, you understand what I'm saying? The sky, the dunks and all that, we get that from Brandt, man. He raised me and my brother, man. You know what I mean? Much love to Brandt.
The day we was playing Ray, we was already there running layups. And then Ray came in, everybody, you think the kids to it up there. Then Hank said, look, man, we playing them. I turned around and looked, that was Ray Johnson. He running layups, and Ray come to, we finally get the half court where he at. I said, damn, Ray, you playing y'all today? He said, yeah, Moses, another war. I said, don't worry about it, nigga, I'm gonna get down to get 40.
Yeah, just like that.
Ass.
He got
44,
I
man.
The Bill Ray had the top talent. I'm gonna say around the city was up there then, man. Them games, they was packed, they was live. It was like the Rucker in New York.
We played down here 16 for Susquehanna, and You know, Hank was just turning 16. I brung him down here with us and said, come, it's time for you to play the big boys. And one night we was playing against Mike Anderson and them.
Okay. And as a matter of fact, one game came down to the end of the game.
We going back and forth and all that, and I'm beating him. So I go to the foul line, and Mike told me, he said, yeah.
I said, shoot a left hand. Man, he shoot a left hand in the game winner.
Man, hit the game winner with the left hand.
The free throws.
How many had?
I don't know, they beat us, I know that much.
And that's where Hank picked it up at, you know, and then Hank mastered shooting his foul shots left-handed. That's what he did. He shot his foul shots left-handed. The 16th for Susquehanna, we came down here, and I had to let Mike Anderson know that you still behind me. It's Moses' time.
And Hank played unlimited with us for a few years, and he was outstanding. But that was all because of his upbringing and the training that he received from one of the greatest ball players that North Philly ever had. I can't think of another ball player that with a legacy like Brandt. Everybody in North Philly, West Philly, different places I still go right now ask about him.
Me and Sid, because Sid put me on Brandt. Okay. So when Hank met him, and we went out a couple times, then we went to the gym down 12th Street, he said, and you start rapping to him, he took all that shit. He said, man, listen, dog, young boy, you gotta take everything on the court. Ain't nothing given to you. Ever since then, I swear to God, he made, when we was playing varsity in 10th grade, he ain't getting in the games. You remember that? Who you talking about, Hank? Hank. Until he talked to him and told that motherfucker, take everything. I mean, he always had heart. But when he told him what to do, how to do it, like, yo, when you get on that court, everybody is war. I don't care who it is.
We all got it. Not to the extent Hank got it, but we all got that demeanor and that heart. Like, you know, it didn't matter who you was playing against. You know what I mean? I'm here. You here, but I'm here too.
I hustled at basketball games, you know what I mean? It's been times we played, and I went from one drug to another as far as hustling, and there's been times where we was playing a game and people asked me something, I called timeout to go to my bag and serve them. You know what I'm saying? And that's real talk.
Look, I be riding through my old hood, but I'm in my new whip. Same old attitude, but I'm on that new shit. They say they gon' ride me, see me never do shit, cause they know that's the reason they gon' end up on the news clip. Audemars on my wrist, bust down. We popping bottles like I scored a winning touchdown. Remember me dead broke, look at me up now. I run my city from South Philly back to uptown.
So in this game now, South Philly Ridgeway, down Christian Street, we was playing against Stinky Norris and them. I'm bringing the ball up the court and they talking. They had a little run, you know, so they was up like 4 or 5 points or something like that, but it's still 5 minutes for half. And the boys holler out real quick, talking about, yeah, y'all ain't win this day. Well, bet this, bet that, y'all ain't gonna win it. I called timeout. My coach, Conrad, he ain't here no more. He's like, Mo, what's wrong? I went to my bag, with my pocket, I told them all, bring that money to the table. We bet money, we beat them, and when it was time to leave, the boys act like we wasn't gonna get out of here. So I grabbed my bag, gave one to my homie, one to myself. And when we was walking out, they started getting in front of the door. I just cocked the gun and said, this how we getting out of here. And they spread it. And that's when they started saying Moses parted the Red Sea. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because they just moved. Everybody moved.
What's the move? Can I tell the truth? If I was doing this for you, then I have nothing left to prove. Nah, this for me though. I'm just trying to stay alive and take care of my people. And they don't have no award for that. Trophies.
I played for R&R Deli out West Philly. You know, we're all over the city, but when we was in the league out West Philly, R&R Deli and our rival was Third World. That was Lou Lloyd, C9, Rick Tucker, Arnold, and it was me, Carrington, Block, Floyd, Reggie Wells. People would come from all parts of the city to see that, no matter where we played at, whether it was down the bottom, 48th Street, down North Philly, wherever, you know, because that's how intense the rivalry got.
You remember Third World, R.L. Deli, at the end result, we won that. We won it down 34th and we won it down 48th. I don't remember Moses. I remember Moses beating us probably twice in their whole career.
Now you know you full of shit.
You know what I mean? We was going undefeated in every league we ever played.
Listen,
We even won a championship down Connie Mac.
We rocked. Look, we owned the city for like 5 years.
And 70.
We owned the city. Listen, go around the city.
76, 77.
Third World can always give you their version of the story. But go around the city and check it out. We owned this city for 5 years. Everywhere.
So he was like a leader on your squad?
Brandt was a very good leader. And it showed up in some games when if he didn't play, you know, we had problems.
This place right here was packed. I mean, it was all the way back behind that fence, all the way up to the baseball field to watch Third World and R Deli play. And how they could see the game from back that far, I don't know. But you could hear it screaming. It was unbelievable. I had a rush from playing down here so bad. And then one night, we had to play them here first, and we had the second game down 34th Street. That's how much we was following each other in leagues. And that night, we did end up splitting. I think they beat us down here, and we won the game down 34th Street. I mean, our R&R team, we won championships everywhere. North Philly was a given, but we won championship out West Philly from 4th and Fairmount to 63rd and Cobb Street Parkway. That team up in Mallory, we went up against players like, you know, it was Leroy Berry and them up there, you know what I mean? And down South Philly was the Bill Berry Colts, all the best teams, you know. At one point or another, at one time or another, we dethroned them.
Brent Moses, I call him the greatest of all time. He arguably, well, he is to me, he's the best basketball player that I've ever had the privilege to watch play in North Philadelphia. There was only one player in the city that I've ever seen that compared to him, and he ended up eventually becoming the NBA ball player, and that was Louis Lloyd.
Lloyd on the drive.
We got the trophies. I know I got MVP.
Yeah. Now, Karen said they beat y'all more than y'all beat them.
No, Karen, well, you know, he
said y'all must have forgot.
He a straight line. We used to rule old heads. All old heads. Ever since I was coming up, no old heads could ever beat us. Rodney Lee, down at County Mac, we bust them. They was up by 3 with, and the wind was blowing. And I was on the foul line, and I shot 3 in the wind. So you gotta play the elements when you play street ball. I shot in the wind and said, swap, swap, swap. You know what I'm saying? And then we took them down. You know what I'm saying? We was young boys. We went over Sherwood, plus all them boys over Sherwood. We ran the whole city. They couldn't beat us nowhere. It took them till I got age 55 in order for them to beat us. You know what I'm saying? I'm 57, so you know.
You know, I mean, they knew that team was tough. It was bad, but at the end of the day, everybody knew Moses is coming. None of them couldn't do nothing with me. And Rick was up and coming, but Rick used to look up to me.
Brent Moses come down on a fast break, 3-on-1, threw it off the backboard and hooked them as a point guard.
Because I cupped that shit. When I cup it and I throw it down, it's a wrap. That's when I do the Vince Carter before Vince Carter. I tell you it's over. It's over.
The police say this corner here is a known drug corner, and with violence erupted, gunfire, there's no less than 27 bullet casings in the street. Several cars shot up. Father of 2 worked at this food market at 23rd and Jefferson.
Who shot y'all?
This is a drug war shoot, you know what I mean? Because them young boys that did it, the one that shot me, they used to sell dope for us right down on that corner first, on 24th Street. We was riding down the street, and I saw one of the boys that used to hustle with us, but he went to the other side. He was there, and I was saying, I got him. But my man said, no, let's talk to him. He gonna listen to us. So when we pulled over, right, and we called him, he looked at us, and he just came right out with the 357. He started clapping. Boom! And I knew it was a gun that he had got from us, so I counted the shots. 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I kicked the door open, and we started clapping. We chased him, but he was already gone, and the cops was coming, so we ran. We had to run down here. We ran right up Stewart Street. I ran down to 24th Street, ran in a friend's house, went up in the bed, and I was just laying in the bed. because I knew the cops had seen me. And when the cops came upstairs, I tried to pretend I was asleep. And there was a cop laying right there on the bed, right? And he's talking to me. And the other cop went around the other side of the bed. So when the cop was talking to me, I turned my head and looked at him. But when I looked at him, his eyes caught the other cop's eyes, so I knew something had happened. But they saw the blood on the pillow because I got hit right here behind my head. But by the grace of God, the windshield slowed it up, so it didn't go all the way in. You know, and that's how they knew, for sure. And they grabbed me and they took me, you know what I mean, took me down the station. But first they took me to St. Joe's Hospital, okay, and they just pulled it. But then they took me down to the station, and because I wouldn't tell them nothing, they brought me back to the hospital and put me out and made me have to walk back down here. That way they knew I had to walk through the same place where the people shot at me at. You know, they knew I had to walk past them to get home, so I had to, you know, dip and dodge, hit this street, hit that street, come around the college wall, you know what I mean, just to make it back down 24th Street safe from St. Joe's Hospital.
And Chewy on some hot nigga. Like I told Tish, I see when I shot niggas. Like you see them twirl and you drop nigga. And we keep the mind millies on my block nigga.
But we begin with breaking news. Violence erupts in the city of Philadelphia. 4 separate shootings in a span of 20 minutes, leaving 1 person dead and 5 people injured.
Sticking people up and going all over the city. You know, we went up in this one area where we was, you know, people shooting crap. You understand what I'm saying? And we pulled out our guns and we robbed them. You know what I mean? We pulled the guns out and took their money. And the one boy didn't want to give up no money. So I look at him, I say, Shorty, what you say? He said, I'm not giving y'all shit. Bow, I busted him right in his knee and I went over there and I just took the money. Took the money out of his hand. I told him next time you see us, just get that shit up. The first time I got arrested was like in high school. It wasn't really a strong case, you know, but Ham, my coach, had to come down there and get me out. He came down 17th Street and got me out.
If you didn't get locked up, you didn't get your props. So one time I got locked up for like 2-3 days. That was all I needed.
Well, you know, I got locked up. I was blessed not to make it upstate, but I was in every last one of the counties. Detention Center, House Correction, and Holmesburg. I was in all 3 of them several times. Stripes was for the gang war era, you know what I mean? Twice was for robberies, and once was just a violation.
So like I remember we were somewhere and it's an incident was going to happen. Now, the good thing about our friendship, right, is that he know he's gonna get locked up. So some people act like they don't know they're gonna get locked up. He know, Holmes, you need to go home. No, I'm gonna stay with you, because it look bad if you leave. You can't leave. Even though I was from the corner, but I wasn't, you can't leave your boy. Holmes, go home. No, I'm gonna get locked up. Because something had occurred, he knew what he was gonna do to the people, so he knew he was gonna get locked up. And that's what he did. He do without a problem. He do his time. And I come home from school, and his mother, I say, Miss D, where Brandt at? Oh, Keith. And she'll write it down, and I had to go up to the prison to see him while I was home on break. Say, yo, man, man, I don't like you coming up here to see me like that. That's what you always say. None of them used to like me to come see him like that. They ain't like me coming to prison. I don't like you come see me like that. I just got to come see you. Nah, don't. I see you when I get out, man. And that's what they would do. But he always got it. He would do his time and come on home.
I'ma tell you, get it off the glass.
When you first get locked up here in the city, when they take you, the first place you're gonna go is detention center, because that's the holdover. And depending on maybe your record, you know, your criminal history, or the case that you're fighting, you know, that's what decided whether or not you got sent over to the House of Correction or to Holmesburg. Most of the people over at Holmesburg was the people that got high bail. I got bailed out when I was at Holmesburg, and you know, I put some money together, and some friends, we put some money together, and I fought the case because it was a shooting case, and the lawyer, he got us a deal. They downsized it from attempted homicide, you know what I mean, to aggravated assault. And I ended up getting 11 and a half to 23 months down the county.
Today, there's a new epidemic, smokable cocaine, otherwise known as crack.
You know, once, I came home and I saw the different people that was hustling out there now, whatever. Once I got back in the game, I just simply told them, I said, look, the money that it take y'all, that y'all get in 6 months, I get in 6 weeks, because my back's stronger than y'all's and I know this game.
Are they giving out jobs? No. If they was giving out jobs, do you think these people will be on these corners today doing what they doing to get money to survive, to take care of their family? No.
It was very tough times back then. You know what I mean? I've done it from the beginning, when the first people was selling it, you know what I mean, back then, before I started even using it. But it was a hard time. You know, it was a hard time. Everybody was selling their houses. People was using people's houses. People was using people's cars.
This is it. The drug so powerful it will empty the money from your pockets, make you sell the watch off your wrist, the clothes off your back.
A guy be sitting in front of the food stand place, he got 10 people in his car. He getting all these stamps. You selling everything you got to get. You know what I mean? To make it, get what you want. You know what I mean? It's like the city is recovering a lot from that. The city is recovering from the crack.
And like anything, I remember a guy told me a long time ago when I was in the game, he said, a monkey can't sell bananas. I didn't know what the hell he was talking about at the time. He came to me and said, Keith, monkey can't sell bananas. Right, and I was picking up some stuff and I drove off and I thought it was so funny, right? But I realized he never did anything. We were monkeys trying to sell bananas. It don't work, and it didn't work. It's not a successful person that was out there that was able to do that. You start going into your own stuff. So that was our biggest downfall. For him and the rest of it, that was our biggest downfall.
Know you heard this before. Never get high on your own supply. Number 5, never sell no crack where you rest at. I don't care if they want an ounce, tell them bounce. Number 6, that goddamn credit, get it. You think a crackhead paying you back, shit, forget it.
When crack first came out, like that revolutionized streets, period, and the drug game. Crack got me a lot of money. It got me a lot of money. But eventually, I ended up like they tell you in one of them songs, never get high on your own supply. And I ended up being my best customer. It caused me to do a whole lot of things, stealing, robbing, everything. When I went out and took money, I did that to get high.
Well, they say the first one you get is the best one you'll ever get. But that high don't last no more than about 30 seconds. You pay $20, $50, and you take an actual, you're getting high, and it only takes about a minute. It lasts about a minute, and then you just start skitzing, trying to get some more. You know what I mean? You just go through different things. Depends on the mentality of the person, how far they go through with it. The crazier you are, the crazier you get when you get high, you know what I mean?
So I chose to check myself into a rehab. Where I could go sit down and get grounded and get the help that I need from me. Because if I didn't go inside, I tried before out in the streets, and I can do it for a little while, but eventually I go back to the streets. So I went into rehab so I can learn some things on how to handle it and deal with my thoughts and my emotions if and when it comes.
Oddly enough, the first time he tried to get clean, he got clean before I did. Because he's always, I was a late bloomer. Even playing ball, I bloomed late. So getting clean came late to me. Now, I got a good bit of time clean now, But Pilo was in the city. Pilo had went to Williamsport. And Brandt had won one of them runs in the middle. And Pilo took him to Williamsport. Just happened to come because we was all cool like that. And we seen you struggling, we come take you, and you go come still with us. So he was in the city, up one avenue. Pilo seen him, put him in the car and took him to Williamsport. So he stayed there for like 4 or 5 years.
Well, you have to have it. No matter how you have to get it, you have to have it. You know what I mean? I had myself, I've actually had to stick people up. I've done that. I went down to Puerto Rican neighborhoods with my mother. Nobody would believe that. My mother had a squad, and we went down to Puerto Rican neighborhoods and robbed them. But we never did no people in the neighborhoods or whatever. But you had to have it. You had to get it any way you could. You know what I mean? You didn't really want to hurt nobody. I'm glad I didn't have to hurt nobody doing what I did.
Okay, what people don't realize about this game and the streets and drugs, you know what I mean? When you do something, you gotta be prepared to take everything that come with it. The good, the bad, the indifferent. You know what I mean? My regret is, I know, you know what I mean, I had a shot. I know I could have played, fuck having a shot. I know I could have played in the NBA. You know what I mean? But I chose, you know what I mean, I chose the streets. I got addicted to everything. The fast life, the drugs, the money, the glamour, all that shit.
Well, the DAs, when they come for you, they already know what they're coming for. So it's not like getting pulled over on the streets. When they come, they kick your door in, SWAT might come, they might have a helicopter over your house, and they'll take everything. You know what I mean? They'll take everything you got. Your cars, your safe, everything, because you've been indicted pretty much. You know what I mean? You've been indicted. So once you're on addiction, you can't get away from that. You can't beat that because they've been on you for years, you know?
Brandt has changed his life around, and he's been giving back. He's done speaking engagements with NBA player Wally Jones.
Yeah, you know what? What I gotta tell the people that really seeing what I'm talking about, these boys can play some basketball. Another thing I like about him is giving back. And he's gonna be part of our Shooting Stars program from now on in Philly.
And when I'm with Mo, you know, and Wally, and we go to these events and we help work the kids out, and when we talk to them, I tell them what I did, but I also tell them, like, I made these mistakes so y'all don't have to.
They did a camp with the New York City legend Pee Wee Kirkland, who was the best of both worlds in New York City at Rucker Park during that time.
They say education is the key. It's the only key.
Brent did a nice clinic, talked to the kids. He helped with some drills. He did some things to really put his notoriety on a positive way.
What I would tell the ones who are willing to listen, you know what I mean, is that there's no winning that. That's like instant gratification. You know what I mean? Try to get an education, go to school, get a job, because it's no good into it. You know what I mean? But in the drug game, you will end up dead or in jail. That's the bottom line, because that's what comes with it.
My most encouraging word is I love what he's doing right now. I know his mother and his father would be very proud. I know that. I knew Miss D, I knew Mr. Tat, they'd be very proud. I know his family would be very proud. You know, I know there's a lot of stuff he got working on inside him, because he's probably the only male left in his family. And I know that works on his mind. All the stuff that went on, right, he's still alive, right? So I know that works on him. But I know Miss D would be very proud of what he come. You know, she loved her son to death.
This is my niece Momo. That's my niece Dana. Where my Destiny at?
Oh,
Think of my Destiny, because she got her hair done now.
Uncle Brandt, he know how to cook, y'all.
Yeah,
know how to cook.
He the only one that can fry chicken like my grandma, his mama.
What's up, everybody? Got your boy down here, Shortcuts Above, 2601, Cecil B. Moore Avenue. This is where it all goes down at. All the basketball talk, all the football talk, you know what I mean? Sports, period. If you want to know anything, this guy right here is a legend. He's one of the best that ever did it. One of the best pick and rolls. Listen, this man should have been in the pros. Listen, y'all talk about all the New York cats. We got our own Philly. Philly representing in the house. North Philly's own, baby.
Let me shake a legend's hand, man.
Yeah.
All they done talked about from 16th Street, you know, in Susquehanna, where they played ball down there. And Anthony Roberts came in and gave a whole documentary of the best man and the best ball player in the city.
Yeah.
And we thank him for the great things that he has done and what he's doing now.
Yes, sir.
And we know that he's gonna go somewhere. And this movie hope to be made from Sharp Cuts Above. Because being in North Philly, man, you got some of the greatest in Mike Anderson to tell you about. So, you know, we thank God for having this brother around here and doing what he do. And now he's helping the community. He's giving back to the community because now he's helping. And he's growing now with the things that he's done. But basketball was what he loved. And that's what he did for years.
For me right now, once again, I'm in the process of recovery. You know, by God's grace and mercy, I made it back there because I was in recovery before. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the way I want to live my life now. I need to live my life that way, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, because it's changed everything for me. You know what I'm saying? I still have good people in my life, people that support me, people that help me. When you're in the drug game, you lose a lot of that, okay? But today, when people see me, they don't try to duck their heads no more. They don't try to walk away. You know, they see me, they smile. Moses, what's up? Brandt, what's going on? A few 24 hours ago, when they seen me, everybody would leave. You know what I mean? Because they knew how I was living.
And all I can do was be there if he called. You know, but he always, if you need something, you know, I'm there. When you're ready to stop, I'm there. And a couple years ago, a little while long, he called me and said, man, I think I want to give this thing a try. I said, all right. I said, I'll give you the weekend, and then you call me, and I had somebody come pick you up. I got him doing some peer trainings here now. I have a lot of plans for residential. We have a residential program as well as treatment for substance abuse and mental health. But he connects real well with people who are coming in new. So I sent him to we have this course called Certified Peer Specialist, Recovery Specialist. So I connected him with that so he can get a certification in that. So, you know, I got him doing that right now, and it works out pretty good. Any recovery, ups and downs. You know, I tell them it's active change, ideas, attitudes, and behaviors. 3 things. So we got to work on that. You can't be the same person now that you were 2-3 years ago. You got to think differently. You got to react differently. Now, in the beginning, it was hard because, you know, once you clean, you got to fill your body up with something other than the drug, and we had to work with helping them fill the body with more positive stuff. So, you know, it's a process for me as well. So, you know, it's coming along.
You know, I've been here now I just, once again, celebrated a year clean, no drinks, no drugs. You know what I mean? But, yeah, we grew up together, and he wanted me here for a long time. You know what I mean? But, like, because I've been in recovery before, when I left town, I was on wheel support. You know what I mean? I know in this process, you got to be real with it. You know what I mean? Because you got to understand this in life. It's real important. Before I could be real with you, I first got to be real with me. You understand what I'm saying? Because if I ain't real with me, everything that I've told you, him, her, whatever, I know at the end of the day it's a bunch of bullshit. You know what I'm saying? It because I want what I want. And I need y'all to help me get it. You know what I'm saying? But once I came in this, I got, you know, I do this process just like I try to do the rest of my life. You know what I mean? I just try to be real with it, to me. You know what I mean? Because it's a line in the Bible that says, to thine own self be true. You know what I mean? And that's all I can do. I can't be nobody but who I am. And that's just the way I go about things.
Yeah, all the youngins in my hood popping perks now. Getting high to get by, it's getting worse now. You gotta tell them, put them guns and them perks down. Them new jails got 10 yards in them, and that's your first down. And I ain't carrying to preach. I just had to say something, cause I'm the one with the reach. Youngin' got a quarter ounce, he tryna turn into meat. Ain't had no daddies, had to learn from the streets. I used to be an honor student, damn, then I turned to a beast. The first time I seen a nigga get some blood on his sneaks. He had on Air Max 93s, but was slumped in the street. His mama crying that this son to me. Oh Lord, this shit I'm doing for my hood, I won't get an award. I used to sell Reggie, then how I get to the Forbes. I take a shot, if I miss, I'm getting on boards. Ain't quitting no more, like give me some more. We wearing Old Navy, it feel like Christian Dior. Was dead broke with rich and soul, was we really that poor? Was we really that dumb? Cause we carry a gun. And every nigga in my neighborhood carrying one. Cause we had nightmares of our mamas got buried as son. I'm speaking to you as a prophet, as rare as they come. Gunshots sound like music hanging out the Buick. Why you wanna be a shooter? Mama told me not to do it, but I did it. Now I'm locked up in a prison, calling mama like I shouldn't have did it. Watch my dream shatter in the instant. I'm on a visit, posing for the picture. Like I'm going for my prime or something, like I ain't facing time or something. Riding for these niggas like that shit ain't hurt my mom or something. Only one gon' give me commissary, even buy me something when it all fall down. I can't call y'all now, even if I hit your phone, that won't get me home. Seen so many different times these niggas did me wrong. Shit, that's the reason that I did this song.
Shit, we was kids, used to play on the step. A couple years later, we flying with the angel of death. I was 11 years old, I got my hands on the tech. When I first touched it, that shit gave me a rush. My homies dying, I'm like, maybe we next. That just made me a threat. Knowing that niggas smoke my daddy, it just made me upset. Made me a man, shit, I was 5 when God gave me my test. Go to court with a quarter point and he won't say he object. Now it's you against the state and you ain't got no cake. Jail overpopulated, they ain't got no space. I know a youngin' that got murked ain't get to try no rape, but he in the hearse on the way to church. I know his mom going fake when she smell like bomber Floyd cologne all on her baby. Pastor said he's sending you home, she going crazy. When they drop that casket all in the ground, who gonna save me? How could you blame me when I'm trying to stay alive and just survive and beat the odds when niggas die by 25? When I stop fearing for my life, when I decide to change my mind and stop towing. Try to smoke the pain away, they lock us up for smoking. Put him on probation, lock him up if he ain't perfect. Victim to the system like a raindrop in the ocean. They closing all the schools and all the prisons getting open. Yeah. See, coming from where I come from, we had to beat the streets, beat the system, beat racism, beat poverty. And now we made it through all that, we had the championship.